Greetings. I am a representative of the Anti-Semite program. These videos are not edited. They are AI assisted and read from script. Today's message is be aware of how you vote. On the day that Jesus was to be crucified, there was an election that gave the people the choice to spare the life of one of the people to be crucified in that day. The people chose Barabbas, the sinner, and left the righteous man, Jesus, to be executed. On the cross, they left Jesus to be executed on the cross. In their decision, the people were actually choosing a sinful life over a righteous life. Barabbas was a liar, rapist, thief, and convicted robber, having no respect to live by God's divine laws. How does this coincide today as people are choosing sin over righteousness? As the life we ourselves are choosing to live and follow. The choice of the people to spare Barabbas over Jesus is seen as a profound metaphor for the human tendency to choose sin over righteousness. In the biblical account, Barabbas was a known criminal, guilty of various sins, while Jesus was innocent and righteous. The people's choice to vote in Barabbas and crucify Jesus symbolizes a preference for a life of sin, lying, dishonesty, strife, discord, and hate over a life of righteousness, love, peace, and happiness. In contemporary times today, this story is seen as a reflection of how society has chosen to prioritize sinful or morally corrupt behaviors over righteous living. This is manifest in various ways. Moral relativism. Many people today subscribe to the idea that morality is subjective, which can lead to justification of sinful behaviors considered as acceptable. This mirrors the people's choice to free Barabbas, rationalizing that his sinful actions and behavior were more acceptable or preferable than the righteousness of Christ. There was a promotion of popularity of sin. The promotion and popularity of sin. Modern cultures glorifies behaviors that are contrary to moral and ethical standards. For example, media and entertainment frequently celebrate actions like deceit, promiscuity, and greed, making them appear attractive. This parallels the choice of Barabbas, whose sinful life was for whatever reason deemed to be preferable by the people. Immediate gratification. Many people prioritize immediate pleasure and satisfaction over long-term righteousness, just as the people might have chosen Barabbas because he represented a more immediate, tangible influence. People today choose paths that provide quick gratification, even if they are sinful. Drugs, drinking, smoking, lustful sexual activities, overeating, gluttony, indecent acts and behaviors. These behaviors, in contradiction to God's commandments, are sought for mental escape from reality, quick gratification, and a form of release from upsets, worry, stress, grief, dissatisfaction, and frustration. Where God's divine commandments, known as God's behavioral science, is the best and most effective practice to relieve the world of sin and all that plagues us physically and mentally. As generations practice and pass on God's behavioral science, the improvements will progress rapidly and more effectively. The present and future generations practicing God's commandments will change conditions rapidly, bringing God's kingdom on earth as it is in heaven. Rejection of the divine commandments, in a broader sense, the choice to crucify Christ is seen as a rejection of God's presence and teachings. Today, there is a trend towards secularism. Secularism is the meaning of secularism, the principle of conducting human affairs based on personal opinions without preference or reference to God's order of affairs. We neglect God's order of affairs and go by our own preference and opinions. That's secularism. There is a trend towards secularism and the dismissal of righteous, spiritual, sin-free, or religious guidance. Dismissal of God's commandments leads us into a life that is more aligned with sin than with righteousness. The story of Barabbas and Christ serves as a cautionary tale, highlighting the consequences of choosing sin over righteousness. It invites individuals to reflect on our own choices and the values we uphold, encouraging a life that aligns with divine laws and principles of righteousness, God's behavioral science. We must be careful of who we vote for and elect to represent us in our way of life. AI. Choosing the right representatives is crucial because they have significant influence over laws, policies, and the general direction of society. Here are several reasons why it's important to be careful about who we elect. Policy impact. Elected officials make decisions on a wide range of issues, including education, healthcare, economy, and justice. Their policies have long-lasting effects on the quality of life and moral fabric of society. Moral, honest leadership. Moral, honest leadership. Leaders set examples for others to follow. Electing individuals with strong moral and ethical values promote integrity, honesty, and righteousness in society. Conversely, leaders who are liars, corrupt, or morally questionable normalize unethical behavior. They normalize unethical, unrighteous behavior. A lying leader will push the people into a hellish condition on earth, normalizing lying, sinful behavior for generations to come. Representation of values. Officials represent the values and priorities of their constituents. Officials represent the values and priorities of their constituents. Electing someone who aligns with their values ensures that your beliefs and interests are represented in government decisions. Electing someone who aligns with your values ensures that your beliefs and interests are represented in government decisions. Legislative power. Representatives have the power to create, amend, or repeal laws, electing individuals who respect and uphold the Constitution. Divine laws and ethical principles help create a just and righteous legal system. There are social influences. Leaders influence public opinion and societal norms. A leader who promotes righteousness and virtues, living positivity in truth, impacts society's behavior and attitudes. Accountability and integrity. Elected officials are accountable to the people. Choosing leaders with a strong sense of duty and accountability ensures that they will act in the best interest of their constituents and be transparently truthful in their communications. There's a global impact. Leaders not only affect their own country, but also have an impact on global issues such as human rights and international relationships. Electing conscientious and morally sound leaders contribute to global peace and sustainability. Being vigilant and discerning in our voting choices helps ensure that we elect leaders who will guide society towards righteousness and uphold truthful values that reflect the divine laws we strive to live by. What does corrupt, hateful, wicked, and sinful leadership bring upon the people? The question is, what does corrupt, hateful, wicked, and sinful leadership bring to the people? Corrupt, hateful, wicked, and sinful leadership brings numerous detrimental effects to society. Here are some key consequences. Erosion of trust. Corrupt leadership undermines public trust in institutions and government. When leaders are known to be lying, deceitful, and self-serving, people lose faith in the system, which leads to apathy, disillusionment, and disengagement from civic duties. Injustice and inequality. Wicked and corrupt leaders create or perpetuate systems of injustice and inequality. They prioritize their own interests or those of their cronies, leading to unfair policy, discrimination, and neglect of marginalized communities. There is a moral decay. Leadership that is openly sinful, liars, and immoral contribute to a general decline in societal values. When leaders model unethical behavior, lying, sinful behavior becomes normalized, leading to a culture where dishonesty, greed, and immorality are accepted or even encouraged. Social division, causing social division and hatred. Hateful leaders sow division and conflict among peoples by promoting intolerance, bigotry, and animosity. Intolerance, bigotry, and animosity. This one exacerbates social tensions, leading to increased violence, discrimination, and polarization. There is economic mismanagement. Corruption leads to economic inefficiency and mismanagement. Resources are siphoned off through graft and embezzlement, leading to inadequate public services, poor infrastructure, and economic instability. Suppression of rights and freedoms. Suppression of rights and freedoms. Sinful and corrupt leaders suppress dissent and restrict freedoms to maintain their power. This leads to authoritarianism, human rights abuses, and the stifling of free speech, press, and assembly. Environmental degradation. Wicked leadership prioritizes short-term gains over long-term sustainability, leading to environmental exploitation and degradation. This results in loss of biodiversity, pollution, harming current and future generations, destruction of the environment for its resources to increase personal wealth. There will be public health crisis. Corruption and unethical leaders neglect public health, leading to inadequate healthcare systems and poor response to health crises. This results in higher disease rates, poor health outcomes, and decreased life expectancy. Global instability. Global instability. Corrupt and hateful leaders contribute to global instability by engaging in aggressive foreign policies, supporting oppressive regimes, or neglecting international cooperation. This leads to conflicts, wars, and strained international relationships. In summary, leadership that is corrupt, hateful, wicked, and sinful have profound negative effects on all aspects of society, leading to widespread suffering, moral decay, and a breakdown of social cohesion. It is essential to elect leaders who are ethical, just, and committed to the common good to foster a healthy, just, and prosperous society. When all choices are corrupt in some form, then vote for the lesser of the two evils. Then work diligently through obedience and practice of God's divine commandments, behavioral science, to correct our leadership and, more importantly, ourselves, as we each are leaders in our own right, but only through the righteousness of God. Peace.